Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest PS5. I'm your host, Sunny Sangera. I'm joined by Alex Sylvester. I'm pointing that way because I'm looking that way, but you're actually that way. We're here, obviously, to do our live reaction for the upcoming Xbox Gamescom 2021 stream. Alex, how are you? Are you excited?
Yes, I'm excited. I'm really expecting to see something which is going to blow my socks off because I think Xbox really need to smack it out the park right now. But we'll see. They haven't had the best track record in the past, but only time will tell.
Well, again, regardless of what Xbox fans thought of my opinions of their E3 show, they had a good E3. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of eyeballs on this. A lot of people consume news just from E3 and Gamescom. Specifically here in the EU market, Gamescom is big. This is where Microsoft really want to impress to not just sell hardware, but gain Game Pass subscribers. I am a little bit worried. I feel like this is a show that Microsoft will focus too much on Game Pass and not trying to sell the hardware. But I am expecting to see Halo because the game is so close to launch. Maybe more Forza. I don't know, another big AAA game. But Dying Light 2, Stay Human. It's been a while,
It has.
Have you played the first game?
And this is David Lubryka, animation director. Hi.
Have you played the first game?
Until December
No.
7th to
No.
finally
Quality
Oh,
game.
did I play at yours? I probably played at yours for sure.
Maybe a little bit, yeah. It doesn't matter if you play it on Xbox or PlayStation. The game, it's a great game, first person. Off outbreak in a cordoned off city. It's really, really good. It's been a while. This game's been through development hell, though. You know what I mean? It's a great start game to show on a Microsoft conference. It's really, really good. It's currently down for December. I can't see it. It's such a stupid time to launch a game when everything's on price promotion.
Yeah.
We don't need to hear what you're talking about. We know the game is absolute quality. Show us more gameplay. Here we go.
Sometimes I wonder what this city looked like before all this.
Oh, I'm just thinking about parkouring across this whole city.
People had their ambitions, plans, lives. Now it's all gone. The virus started it.
Definitely the PS4 version.
Villador. You think so?
Villador. They tell me they had a vision. They had hope. But soon, one vision
Oh, nice.
broke into many different ones.
I like that.
Okay, that looks like something from Last of Us.
The souped up Last of Us.
Instead of fighting together, people stood against
What's really interesting me about this game, I mean, obviously the first game, it had great gameplay mechanics, parkour, but what really interests me about this game in particular, it's like Messi in the background there, is the fact that it's more really focusing on how the humans have, like the tribalism, the tribes in there, how they act differently, and how whoever you support missions with and stuff like that, it changes the city and that, and other tribes react differently to your actions and stuff.
Yeah.
But look at the fluidity. That looks crazy. This game is going to be great.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I know there's a marketing deal with Xbox on this, and I said to you in one of my Gamescom predictions on our latest PSX Patreon exclusive show that a big third-party game will get Game Pass, and they're opening with this. Could this be coming to Game Pass on launch, Alex?
Let's check and see.
Yeah, without a doubt. Oh, Boxic.
I love the fact that, look, he just free falls and then
Yeah.
look at that, man.
Look at the weaponry. Fuck. Nice.
Can you picture Ellie doing it? Ellie and Joe.
Doing it.
But I love this.
Maybe Abby. More Abby.
This is cool, man. Like, this is all it needs to be is just more of the first game. You know what I mean? The DLC was great. They've only just finished porting the first game this year. Look at that. Melee. Melee is definitely improved from the first game.
We'll see about that.
Well, that was an exciting trip, wasn't it, Timo? Did you notice those bandits in medieval-like armor passing by skyscrapers?
You got your own little zombies running around in the background as
I've got
well.
them,
As
yeah,
have
you can
I.
hear them.
Modern,
Trying to hunt me down. They'll never get me in here.
Because everyone who listens to the latest PS5 knows we're just a bunch of gaming dads with industry experience, and we like to talk video games, but our kids sometimes want to get involved.
put so
You know,
much effort into
was
A bit too much so.
Well,
was Nintendo playing it at one
of animations, cooperation with
And
professional
PS5 now,
tracers,
they're balancing
World
both
Cup
now.
sessions, and invaluable help from David Bell, whose face and moves player will
That's what
see
these
in the
guys
game.
talking about.
No, yes, right. And we've got twice the number of parkour moves compared to the first
Nice.
game. And we are showing some of them in this trailer. The vault kicks
It's
being
good though,
the
because
most
like obviously if you're
important
really
to me
showcasing the
personally.
parkour, it
It
really
brings
makes the game a lot
whole
more
new
fluid in
fighting style
motion,
into
you know,
the
and that's
game.
key.
The player can stagger
Well, I think one
underneath
criticism
and
from the
use them
first
to
game,
perform
many people on
further attacks.
Xbox
For
and
example, by
PlayStation and PC
rebounding
had
from
was
their
when you
bodies and
transition
jumping off them onto
from
other
like a
foes
jump to a
can
kill, there was that
I
ever
think
so
we
frame
captured the
rate
movement
blip
really well.
as the
It
animation
was
change.
quite
There's
simple
like
for
the
players to
animation
perform.
change felt like
I
a frame
can't
rate
wait for
blip,
them
you know
to
what I
try
mean?
it
Yeah,
out and
So
tell
if they
for
can get that
themselves how
all
hard
just
they
going
work.
fluidly,
It's definitely
it'd
but
be
that was just
amazing.
down to the tech though. That was down to the tech of the day, right? So it should be a lot better.
I mean, it was
these days.
early PS4, Xbox One game, you know, I
Oh,
think it was
yeah, yeah.
2014.
Players will need to find a way to reach those tall skyscrapers and other challenging spots too.
Then it's good we scattered
You know,
some helpers around.
this is the
Like the
difference that I always
paraglider,
find
which
between
can support
Sony and
players in
Microsoft
both
shows. Sony
parkouring
just
and
focus a
combat.
lot more on games.
Exactly,
You know,
and
even
it's
when they did the
gonna do
PS5
great,
reveal and they had the
especially in
devs talking, the
fights
devs
against
talked
humans,
maximum
which
30
are
seconds,
more
45
frequent
seconds,
and
and that was it.
than in Dying
You know what I
Light
mean?
1. It's
Yeah.
been over 20 years since the
They're obviously
events of
padding out the
first
time
game,
here,
so
aren't they?
people are just
But honestly,
they are
dude, the
much
fact that they're
bolder
giving
now,
so much time
at
to
least
Dying Light 2
during
as
the
an
day.
opening, it's Game
And they
Pass
are more
guaranteed.
They're
vicious
worth
too.
it, yeah.
And I
Let's
think
see.
that's a great summary of this discussion. Pre-order Dying Light 2 and explore its vast, complex world on December 7th.
Oh, it's sticking to
Okay.
December.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Oh, no Game Pass. Interesting.
For the first time in the storied history of the franchise, Microsoft Flight Simulator launched on a home console with the release.
This is a
on
technical
Xbox
achievement
Series
and a
X
half, man.
S
Yeah.
last month.
You know what I mean?
Viewers and gamers alike were blown away by how well the stunning visuals and the depth of the simulation translated to the console, and that's why I'm extremely honored to welcome the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator, York Newman, to the stream.
So we can talk while they're
Thank you for
talking. It's
being
nothing
here.
important on that
Last
sense.
time
But
we
I mean,
met was at the
have you ever
Xbox
played a
Game
Flight Simulator
Showcase,
game?
and it was getting
No,
ready to come
never
out
really
on
been
console.
compelled to
How
play
did
it
that go?
at all.
It
But
went
this one,
great. As you
this
said,
one looks really
reaction to
It's
interesting.
the
the
visuals, you know what I mean? It's a bit
Visually,
fragile
yeah.
thing, and I think it's always been PC. It's
both
finally
from
come to
Xbox gamers
Xbox,
and from the
and
press
Yeah.
have been
you know
so
what? It's a
pleased
good
with
thing
that.
because it
I
was
don't
the
know if you know,
guaranteed
but
game
Flight Simulator is
that
one of the
was.
highest
You don't
rated
see it
games
in
on
that
Xbox
sense,
this
but it's
year,
the game
which
that
I think
can
is just great
match
validation,
Sony's
that the
first party
that
offerings from a
translation of the
Metacritic
simulation to
standpoint.
the
You know what I mean?
console
It's like the
has
perfect. You
really
cannot
worked
beat
well.
this simulation when it comes to
Our
flight.
usage
You know,
numbers are
Yeah.
through the roof.
and visually it's
We
stunning.
are
The tech
absolutely
behind this
shattering
game is
franchise
absolutely
records, and I can tell
insane.
you, they have been
But
really
similar to you, you know,
forceful with
I've
Flight
played it a
Simulator
few years
right
ago on the
now, so it's
PC,
an awesome
an
time.
older version. I haven't played the
That is
new one, but
awesome.
I've seen
Congratulations
people
on the launch, really.
playing it.
But
Very impressive to look at. And it's funny because I complimented the game during the E3 stream, but people said I was shitting on it. I was like, huh?
I want to go to the danger
Top
zone.
Gun.
So what's going on with Top Gun?
There's so
What's
much
going on with Top
Paris.
Yeah,
So you're not
great.
talking
Again,
about
there's not so
Top Gun
much you can
Maverick, where we
really
the fans are super
partner
excited.
with
They
Flight
saw it in
Simulator, but
2018.
Top Gun
They
was
can't wait
perfect.
to start
Top
You
Gun's
know,
an easy one, right?
And as you know, it comes out later this year as free DLC.
if they want to hit the big boys, you got to go
alongside the
Disney
movie.
Pixar planes,
But
mate.
as
Well, it's
the
not
movie is
Pixar,
still
but
under
Disney
wraps,
planes. That's the
Paramount,
combination.
right.
You
so
need
I
Dusty
cannot
Crop,
tell you that
Dust,
much about
Dusty
it.
Crop
But
Hopper
there's
in
so
Flight
much more
Simulator.
going on,
That's what
especially
you
for
need.
Maverick. So
Yeah, shoot him
we
out the sky,
continue
please,
to do
somebody.
our monthly big releases that we've been doing for a long time. And next month, on
All
September
about Dusty
7th,
Crop Hopper, mate.
we
You know,
are
I guess in a
launching
world where most people are
World
kind of
Update
locked
6.
down, you know,
And
this is going to be a perfect
this World
opportunity for
Update,
people to just like
at
get
the
out
beginning of the
without
show, if you
being able to
remember,
get
They've
out.
got this
little
game out
red
earlier.
button
It would have been a
alone. So we did
such
that because World Update
Yeah.
6
like it's a
is the
critical
best
hit, and
exclusive games
it's on
out.
Game
So
Pass. It's a
Germany,
commercial hit, but
Austria,
they
and
would have had.
Switzerland. And what
They
that means
could,
to us is
sorry,
we
have had
new
Animal
aerial
Crossing
and
levels of
satellite images. We
engagement.
have a new
Is what I'm
elevation
talking
map
about. Because
that helps
Yeah.
us with the mountains.
look at
So the
that. I
Alps
mean, that's
actually look
stunning.
awesome
Animal
now.
That looks
Crossing
beautiful.
came
We
out
have
at the
new
right
3D
time.
cities
It got
like
massive
Frankfurt and
engagement.
Bogota,
Imagine if this had
Germany.
come out.
Look
Look at
at
that.
In
that.
Switzerland,
Jeez,
we have Vienna and Graz in
Madness.
Austria.
that
And,
is perfect.
and those cities look just amazing.
But it
We
makes
have
me
like
laugh
7
though, because when I
centimeters
look on social media and I
resolution,
see
it's awesome. But
some
we wanna
diehard
celebrate the
Xbox
entire region.
fanatics
So we picked
who are
100 of
trying
the
to
most
big up
scenic
the
places,
Xbox.
the
I
most
never see
famous
them use this
landmarks,
game as an
and we
example
call
because
those
it's the
POIs.
perfect game
and
to
we
use
sort
as
of
an example.
explained-
You know what I mean?
them
That's
throughout the-
stunning.
throughout the
Absolutely
simulation.
stunning.
It's
And we
really good,
also
but
added
remember, there's
points
not
we
that
did
much
Lübeck
interaction with the
and
environment
Stuttgart
happening
in
in it,
Germany
so
and Klagenfurt
Mm.
in
it's not to say
Austria
that
and
it couldn't
St.
happen on
Gallen
another
in
console.
It looks super
And,
realistic until you hit the
and
floor,
what
then you get
ties
like a
all together
PS1
is
explosion.
It's all
innit?
pixelated.
we have a new,
Xbox era.
Discovery
Red
flights,
light of
we have
death.
new landing chance, and we
That's
have
it.
new
But I mean, you know what I mean? Absolutely stunning, you know, and it's a feather in the cap. It's an ace in the deck for Microsoft on that sense, you know, and they will keep supporting this. Again, Flight Simulator is a service, as are many of their games at the point in time.
As are many games in general now, isn't it? It's just moving over to that, that model.
That is really incredible, all the different regions and everything that you're going to have in the game, and the way that
I'm not going to lie, the show will bore me if there's a lot of talking.
Yeah, I think it's really cool.
Sorry, Xbox fans, I know you're probably like, yeah, it's all about the context. It is, but you've got to balance it right, you know what I mean? And I'm hoping that they just show a lot more games.
Like we do. You actually realize that a lot of regions of Earth have a very special relationship.
I don't understand why Microsoft, I mean, they have Inside Xbox, you know, they have a show. Why they don't do the state of play style, like deep dives and things like, you know, that Sony do, like a Nintendo Directs and stuff. Microsoft need to focus more on that. And they probably do, because I'm not into that world of Xbox, and they probably do. But something like this, I know you want as many eyes on it as possible with Microsoft Flight Simulator, but you could have just done a small bit of talking, small bit of gameplay, and say for a full deep dive, look at our Inside Xbox, which is now available on all our social channels, and then bam, there, and then you can go 45 minutes an hour talking about Flight Sim, but and there's people who will watch it all.
In Germany, it's lovingly named Tante U, so Aunt U. And we think of us as sort of a digital preservation. So we really want to get these players an extreme level of details going out of our way to really go deep. So we're doing
remember how I was complimenting Xbox at the beginning of the show on Flight Simulator? That compliment's going to disappear in a minute. Fucking move on.
Is it waiting now?
Who is the grandson of the original.
This is more for the PC market, innit? The PC market would love this. It's like, yeah, man.
Microsoft, I can't say anything, man. Sony showed Goodbye Volcano High.
Your favorite game? I can't believe you can't get out and delayed, mate.
I'm happy. What a dump of a game.
Flew one of those planes while it was still flying in the real world, and he lets us know, like, is the cockpit right?
I'm interested to the weather system as well.
Feel right in the air.
It's supposedly amazing. You know, it's amazing. Like, you know, all you got to do is just go onto YouTube and just type in like Microsoft Flight Simulator, like weather 4K,
and just watch it.
Aviation inside Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically that. It's a museum with flyable planes. So we're working.
This guy's like, this is my minutes of fame, man. I'm going to keep talking and talking and talking. And Paris, who's the host, is probably thinking, can you shut up, man? We need to move on.
I want to get
different game.
Their babies, and they sort of see the tooth of time in the real world, sort of nagging on their remaining planes.
I'm in a bomber jacket as well.
When we go in with our scanning equipment, and we're basically capturing their planes, and they know that we can digitally preserve them in perpetuity. And we're actually giving those scans back to the
There's a better Flight Simulator out on the market, though. Did you know that? And you can actually play that on PlayStation at the moment. It's called GTA.
Looking back in the history of aviation,
you can do everything and anything in GTA online.
Plug it. A German company called Volocopter. Yeah. And they're making an EV.
Oh, speaking of that, nothing to do with this show, whatever, but this is what this show is doing to us now. It's boring me to death already. But if you go to Smith's Toys, and if you're listening, if you go to Smith's Toys, Red Dead Redemption 2 is only $7.99. Bargain.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, $7.99, or it's available on PlayStation now. So yeah, sign up. Oh, isn't it if you sign up for PlayStation? No, there was an offer that you could sign up for a month for £1.
I'm so happy to announce that
I might actually jump on that,
actually. We get free trial. Red Dead Redemption 2, you need to free up a month, mate. It's the closest you're going to get to the narrative level of The Last of Us Part 2 and God of War. That's how good the narrative is in Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the pinnacle of Dan Houser, who is obviously one of the, or used to be one of the head script writers for Rockstar and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, he's finished. We can move on.
Finally.
Oh no, is it still going to be Flight Sim?
Captured in real time, 4K.
Still Flight Sim, bro. At least it's better than them talking now. The lighting, nice.
The ray tracing. Oh my god, it's gorgeous. What was it?
I think it's just a DLC pack. Poor man.
DLC pack called Flight Sim. Okay.
Again, great for Xbox game. Oh, has he still got his glasses on?
And you know I love being in the
he better not be talking.
He's loving it now. Yeah.
He's still there. Oh my god.
Faster than 500 miles an hour, 50 to 250 feet above the ground.
Can we like
You are
fast forward
definitely
this?
gonna be in the danger zone.
If
I mean,
only.
without going into too much detail,
We weren't
this
watching live,
Zero
Alex.
Race is
We
actually
could.
the largest expansion we have since we launched on Flight
I think
Simulator.
at
It's
this
not
rate
just
for
because
future
you scanned
Xbox
all
shows,
the
we shouldn't
famous
watch live.
race
We should
planes
wait
of
till
the
it
world. There's
finishes,
lots
then
of
watch
them.
it.
This is also the first
They're
time
still
when you
talking
can
about
basically
Flight
They are
Sim.
really
rescue
padding
fans
this
and
out, though.
pilots
I mean,
across
yeah, I
the
mean, I
world.
get it. Flight Simulator
Yeah.
is sold
So
a lot. It's
a
probably like
competitive
it's been the most
multiplayer
popular
is
flight
coming
sim
to Microsoft
game
Flight
well, for
Simulator,
Xbox
and that will
forever.
definitely test
But
your pilot skills. And you
yeah,
asked
let's move
when is
on.
it coming out? This is coming out this fall, so it's right around the corner.
Oh, that is fantastic. And you know I have the need for speed, so I can't wait to get my hands on this and participate in some of these air races.
Oh,
Awesome, man. We
piss,
got you
well, I'll piss
covered.
myself laughing to show a completely different game.
Yeah.
And that geezer's still sitting in the
Going
chair.
fast on the ground is more your speed.
It's like, get out,
Keep an
man,
eye
go.
out for an extended look at Forza Horizon
Yes.
5 later on
Again.
in the stream.
Forza.
We'll also talk with Wasteland 3's game director about the game's next big DLC. But first, if you're an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, we have some great news for you.
Oh, nice. Let's see what it is. There's a whole bunch of indie games coming to Game Pass. Another great deal for Game Pass for guests and gamers. Again, I complimented Game Pass during the Xbox Live reaction on E3, and Xbox gamers took offense to me complimenting Game Pass. I was like, oh, okay, fine. Carry on.
Yeah, you just don't give a crap.
You know what I mean? It's just crazy. This looks cool. Midnight Fight Express.
That looks pretty good, yeah. We can show some stuff.
The problem is it's going up against Sifu. It's similar to like, you know, fight. Sifu's going to be shown. Sifu will be
That
shown
is a
tomorrow.
game.
Cannot
Cannot
wait.
wait.
Bushida. Bushida.
Nice.
I was done with Mega Drive games years ago.
Yeah, innit? Yeah. 4K Mega Drive games. We need lots more of those.
Sprites.
Yeah.
But again, it's great for Game Pass.
Are
I
you
mean, let's
serious?
be honest, Alex. Right? If these games came out to buy, at best, you know, it's going to sell a couple 100,000 and stuff. But going on to Game Pass, they get the development costs back from Microsoft because that's probably the deal, and millions of people will have access to that game. You know, it doesn't mean millions will play it, but it will always be there for people. And as we've seen, it doesn't matter if a game is on Game Pass and to purchase on PC or PlayStation or anything. It doesn't affect sales because we've seen that with Outriders, we've seen it with MLB and other games that have been on Game Pass and then come out at full price on PlayStation or PC or Steam that they've sold continuously well. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. Xbox One, Windows 10, soon to be Windows 11.
Yep, somehow they did it. They added even more games.
I bet you they had to force that guy out the chair. Get him off the stage.
Just get him up. Just go to another set.
Pick him up and throw him over. I want to talk flight.
But now we've got a new roguelike retro shooter that in grand retro
Age of
fashion
Empires will be
sends you
big
plundering
for
through shifting
Xbox
dungeons
as
to
well.
mysterious eldritch terror. Let's dive into the pit.
The pit. Game Pass. Like a PlayStation 1 first person game. I take that back, PS2 first person.
It does look like, yeah, first gen, doesn't it? Is that the style?
It is indeed. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's cool to have variety on your console and stuff, but there's they should know internally that Sony have big plans in September.
Boys, come on, please get there. Come on.
You know what I mean? That they're probably going to offer more entertainment than this, bro.
Yeah, they are.
You know what I mean? But like literally, I just thought you come out guns blazing at Gamescom. This is when you get most eyes on you at E3 and then Europeans at Game, especially as well when you consider how bad the market share for Xbox is in Europe, in the EU territory. You know, come out with your guns blazing off the bat.
Yeah.
You know? And they probably will by the end of the show, and I'll be eating humble pie like the humble Game Pass, but we'll see what happens.
Only time will tell.
Look, the guy took his jacket off, quickly shaved his head, and managed to get back on stage.
Somebody else, man.
Because you brought something a little different and very special.
Age of Empires 4.
Yeah, I have. So, so far we've been showing everyone kind of...
It's so funny. I remember a few years ago, Sony's last E3, where they were actually there. And they said, we're only going to show 10 games, and we're going to deep dive on them. And I remember Xbox fans proper
Well, we
shitting
have
on Sony,
another
but the games that they
way
deep
in Age of
dived on were
Empires 4
Spider-Man and
bringing
Last of
history
Us
alive
Part
when we
2 and Resident Evil
Quality
2,
games.
Control,
Yeah.
and they were
Put
shitting
Great
on
yourself
it.
in
IP.
Saying,
I
you know,
want
it's
to.
about that. It's
So
about
let's
it's about
go with
having
it.
loads
Here.
of games,
Okay,
not
wait,
just
get-
short games. And
Yeah.
Microsoft are doing it in a very boring way at the
Okay,
moment.
that's enough.
So it's just like, you know.
What we brought today is we have these wonderful little videos.
They're going to talk for another 10 minutes on this one game alone.
And they're about
They're
3
padding
to
it.
5 minutes
They've only got like 4 key
And,
games to show.
We have over an hour of them total.
That's
And they're
it.
called Hands-on
We're
Histories.
Dying Light,
And what they are is a
Flight Sim.
great way to like deep dive on certain
Well, let me check
fun
while I'm
subjects
looking.
from the cultures they're representing and just from medieval
So
history.
Excellent.
I'm
Well, I hear
watching
you
on
actually brought
the
one of those clips that you're gonna
IGN
share here for
live
the very
stream
first
of
time.
this,
Yes,
Yep.
and
I
it started
have,
at
we are going to
37,500
show you
viewers.
the
It's currently at
segment on one of the
29.
most popular units
So it tells you that
from
people like us
and
got
a
bored
fan
and dropped
favorite,
off
the
in that
Trebuchet.
first flight
Yeah,
sim
yeah.
conversation. You know,
Then
it'll
just
jump
wait
back
till it
up
all comes out.
massively
Take a look.
Yeah, we'll
when
see.
when Forza and everything
Yeah, maybe.
comes out.
A counterweight trebuchet.
But we'll see what happens. And I know Age of Empires is massive because obviously it's got a huge franchise. It's been there since like
A
the
catapult
90s. It's
capable of
massive.
smashing down
But we'll
castle
see what
walls
happens. But why are they
from
showing
great
like a real
distances.
time thing? Just show us the game, man. Because this game will look amazing as well, especially on like PC, 4K.
At Warwick
Series
Castle
X.
in England, they've built a replica, one of the largest
I just
in
want
the
you to know,
world.
Alex, why you're looking at this huge guillotine thing in real life. This is a Gamescom
By the 13th
briefing
century,
for video
trebuchets
games.
evolved into devastatingly powerful weapons.
Such a simple
What?
design, but so
Okay.
Lord.
We've got into a documentary now. Not really
Pivoted arm
capturing your
with a
attention,
weight
is
at
it?
one end and a sling to hold the projectile at the other.
And we managed to get this in Age of Empires, which you'll see from 50 miles away in the map view.
So this is one of the wheels, one of 2 that's attached to an axle, which
What are
would
we
lift the
watching,
counterweight,
Alex?
weighing 6 tons. It's based on muscle power alone.
I get it.
Essential about
People are going to say it's a context to the game. It makes it better. It's good to see something different. Not on a Gamescom briefing, your second biggest briefing of the year. You know, in a territory you need to grow your market share.
Yeah.
Close to the counterweight, and by launching the projectile from a sling. When released, the sling whips round, vastly increasing the launch speed.
If they were doing this about Age of Empires, the gameplay, and they were talking over the game, I'd be happy. But the fact that they're doing this over some Robin Hood looking stuff makes me laugh.
The Robin Hood thing's up, doesn't it? That's done it for you.
Breach them. You had to make sure that the projectiles hit the same spot every single time.
Oh, my lord.
For each projectile to follow the same trajectory, they all had to be the same weight and shape.
So while this is taking place and I'm not paying attention at it all, did you add to your PlayStation Plus subscription for 50% off?
I have not done that yet. But
Oh
yeah,
my
it's
God.
definitely,
25 kilograms.
Yeah, no.
Some projectiles can get up to 150 kilograms.
this?
That's the weight of 2 men.
I'm actually shocked that this is on the Gamescom press conference.
Trebuchets were also used
This is the
for
shit that belonged on the
burning tar,
pre-show.
beehives, even
Pre-show
dead
you're talking about,
bodies.
man. This is like
Anything
kids'
to cause
TV.
maximum distress to the
Yeah,
enemy.
just leave it on that. Leave it on CDBs or whatever Nickelodeon.
I can't wait to see somebody comment saying that this is enlightening. It's good to know this stuff for the game. No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is.
No, it ain't.
Combination of power and accuracy.
I can imagine Remedy getting someone on this person thinks they know telekinesis. This is the part of the brain where they can move things. Wow. Shit.
Age of Empires.
You know,
Nice.
I'm gonna
Fast
say
Fast 4.
Trebuchet.
Sloppy. Very
It's awesome
sloppy.
and remarkably unique, something you don't see in games very often.
Yeah, so
I think the best thing about the last 5-6 minutes has been this lady's earrings.
Age of Empires 4. There's a phrase
What a
I'm really
doing.
fond of, which
Shiny.
is history is only as interesting
Oh,
as
wow.
the people who talk
I mean,
to you.
yeah, that's
And
riveting.
you can
riveting
say that
stuff
about
on
any
Xbox.
subject, really, right? But I think the great thing is when you have
I
somebody
didn't
who's
think
enthusiastic
anything
and
would be worse
passionate
than
about
Nintendo
history, it really
saying,
comes across. And
I
we
bet
wanted
you're
to
all
bring that
excited for
kind
Breath of the
teaching
Wild
of
2.
history.
Well,
And,
you will see stuff soon.
there's a
Just not
phrase
now. But Xbox
Just
are topping
now.
it. They're topping
Take
it.
the mic in it.
They're just Xbox are topping it with this.
Kind of in our briefings as well, where we've got like real.
And I
stuff,
apologize if you are
CG
watching
kind
this
of
and you are a big
overlaid
Age of
to show you the
Empires
history.
fan. I'm sure when
And
they
so
eventually show us more
these,
gameplay, we'll be
we
like,
really
yeah,
wanted to do
yeah,
that same
yeah, this
thing.
looks
So
cool.
we-
This looks
we-
cool. That's what me and Alex
ourselves
want to
as
see.
well, like, partnered with
But
this amazing group in the UK.
Well, bit of news on the Nintendo
and
front
they've
as you
done
brought it up.
production on an amazing amount of
Mario
shows and
64 has been
documentaries for the BBC and
decompiled.
won every award you can
So they've
imagine
pretty much
from
stripped
media.
that game
And,
from
they travel
the
to all of
ground
these
to
locations
well
and all these
to the
different
top really,
countries
and
to
you can
meet
actually
with
play that
these
game
subject
fully
matter
on a web
experts and
browser.
get all of this
That's crazy,
great
man.
footage
Yeah, it is
on how
amazing.
things really
And
let's
you
be
can
honest.
save on there too. So
Let's be
in a
honest.
world now where we can actually play Mario
Listen,
64 on a web browser.
listen. You can take every single PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Nintendo 64, GameCube. You can take everything up to the Xbox 360 and PS3, and we could probably just easily play it on the iPhone if it's powerful enough. They just don't make it, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially that M1 chip being the next
I'll let your
processor.
imagination go with
Wasn't
what
it?
we
Yeah.
might show and what we might talk about in that one.
Come on.
But the thing I love about them is that they go all
All
over
right,
the
we
place.
are
So,
like
we've got ones on warfare and
almost
castle
30
building.
minutes
okay,
in.
yeah.
How they kept
This is
flaming
just
arrows from
stretching
not
it.
going out once
Really
you shot
stretching it
them.
out.
And so
The worst thing is, I
but
feel like
gameplay.
if it carries on like this,
like illuminated
we
history
shouldn't
and,
even put it up, but we just have to put it up for
Hawk
prosperity
Falconing
of
and,
how
you
not
know,
to do a
like
games
horse taming,
compressor.
armor
Which is
creation,
exactly what this is going to be titled,
and
yeah?
even
How
there's even
not
one on Mongolian.
And if you
music
and if you're an American
which is really cool
citizen
because
and
those
you're an
instruments, we
Xbox
actually use
fan
them in
and
the
you're taking the piss
soundtrack
out of me and Alex
for
right
the
now, what you need
Mongols
to
when you're playing
understand
as them in
is
the campaign,
over here in
in the game.
Europe,
I mean,
in the
I just
Xbox
love
world,
the
you're probably
behemoth
being
amount of
misled.
history
It
that
isn't
you
like
guys-
that. It
Age
is
of Empires, always
strictly,
known
without
for
a
its history
shadow of a
alive in
doubt,
completely different way,
PlayStation
and I
territory,
also love
right?
that you mentioned
Just like
both
Japan is
you and the team
predominantly
do so
Nintendo
much
territory,
research, and it's so
Europe
great to
is
see this approach
pure
being used,
Sony,
and it
followed
happens
by
on history kind of
Nintendo,
segment.
and then
I mean,
Microsoft.
what was that approach
I don't
And-
know about that actually. I
you
think
know,
it's
sell
mainly
going forward,
Nintendo
especially
right now.
since it's
You shut up, man. Don't be silly.
Dominating.
Well, the
No,
cool
it
thing
ain't.
was it was
No, it
their
ain't.
first.
And then
what's
One of the
that?
things I was
you look
really
at that,
wanted to do is
you would
try to
think that,
tell
and
these stories in a different way.
oh my god,
But that's
Flight
not-
Simulator,
like, full
that was more
disclosure,
entertaining than Flight Sim.
It wasn't it with the background as well.
It was.
Yeah, look at that.
But then
in a game
it's funny though
where
because
you have
millions of
history
people
over a
in
game, we're
Europe
teaching you
watch the
things, we're having
Gamescom
fun,
stuff,
and,
get the news from there.
finding
It's
that middle
it's
ground
bigger
is
than
really
E3. When there's
challenging.
people
And,
there,
you know,
hundreds of
every time
thousands,
we
not just
tried to show, we showed
70,000 or
campaigns,
75,000,
hands on sticks. I've
hundreds
been like,
of
"Oh,
thousands
these
of
are
people
doing
attend
work,
Gamescom.
like, people gonna
You
like
know,
this.
and
The great thing
millions
is
of people
so far,
will be
everyone that's
watching
really
this
experienced the
online
entire
and
thing
watching the
put together
highlights and stuff.
have just
And
been
so
like, wow,
far,
this
I
is
mean,
great,
how,
and it's so different
started
and
at
it's cool
37
and
on the
refreshing.
IGN stream.
So,
We were at 20, we dropped to 28. We're now at 36, so it hasn't gone off the higher than the original.
Yeah.
The original number, but that's why we need to see like Forza Horizon, some third-party stuff.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Yeah. Forza. Show me that.
Well, they dropped again, just out of the blue, like a 15-minute 4K gameplay footage of the game, right? And again, why don't you put that into like a big? And they probably did, and I don't know, and I'm chatting out my arse, right? But say, hi guys, we've got 15 minutes on Friday of Forza releasing for you on an inside Xbox where you're going to sit down and listen to the dev talk and things like that. And but it just dropped on the social channel. I was just like, wow, man.
Yeah, like they don't really care. Well, they're that confident that they don't need to promote it.
11 a.m.
Because
Pacific
it will sell
time.
buckets.
There might be
Surely
some
this will
Age of
end with Halo
Empires related
campaign
in there,
footage,
so
right?
If you're a fan, you probably should tune in.
A bit of a tease from Mr. Ice Green.
Maybe.
And I
These
like
guys have
it
been
very
talking
much. Adam, thank you so much for joining us
minutes
here.
Always a pleasure.
plus
Kate.
with
Always
no
a pleasure.
gameplay of Age of Empires yet.
Fantastic. So I cannot
And I know there's gameplay available on YouTube and that to watch now, but this is a show that people they don't watch YouTube to search for this stuff. This is where they get their info from, you know?
Straight from this.
With our friends at Playground Games. But now, let's catch up with Paris, who's gone from flying the skies in Microsoft Flight Sim to a different kind of cloud.
That's right, Kate. Xbox Cloud Gaming is already available on Windows
xCloud.
PCs, mobile phones, and tablets. And now, it's coming to Xbox consoles. The future with cloud gaming sounds bright. No waiting to install, no running out of hard drive space, no waiting to patch, and no buying a new
Do you think that's why
console.
Sony
That's what I want to hear.
With your friends.
ever since PS3, there's always been a web browser on the PlayStation, and they took it out for PS5. Do you think they took it out knowing that Microsoft would go behind them? Innit?
Probably, yeah.
Those two
Steal the
things
room from
together
around
to
it.
me really show you the
Again, this
future
is
where
great.
can
You know,
pick up
Microsoft,
something you
and
can
I
put anywhere
will
and you
keep
could do
saying
it
this, and
quickly.
obviously, again, Xbox enthusiasts should be encouraged by what I'm saying. That Microsoft don't want to be in the hardware business; they want to be in the software business. They want to be a platform to provide streaming services to people, which is bigger than hardware. But people are like, no, Mike, trust me, if Microsoft could drop hardware for software, they'll do just like that, and Xbox is better down the line as a service on everything, with Game Pass.
Cloud gaming is really about looking at how people play differently.
And the good thing about xCloud as well is, but when PlayStation Now, I think it was in the same week, literally, that both PlayStation Now and xCloud went up to 1080p streaming, so you can stream games in 1080p.
This is the kind of stuff you need with cloud gaming.
Again, we always talk about latency and internet connections and stuff like that, but in about year and a half, 2 years time, especially in the UK anyway, that won't really be an issue, for us. I know there's parts in America where it's a big issue, but that's what the hardware or anything is there for, but I think the big problem is we're here in the UK are so used to just unlimited data, because you get any sort of internet service provider in your home. 99% of those tariffs are all unlimited. But in America, the business is so big to have data packs and data limits and things like that, right? That becomes a big issue. And I think it's very smart by both Sony and Microsoft to just streamline it at 1080 at the moment.
Because you are connecting to consoles that are in our data centers.
Yeah, well, both of them are just lagging behind when it comes to compared to Stadia.
Well, it's good for Stadia because obviously the good thing that Google are doing is Microsoft will obviously definitely 100%, and Sony without a shadow of a doubt will be looking at, okay, where's the niggles, what's the bottlenecks that they're getting in this that we can work with, how did Google find the solution and things like that. Again, another reason you don't need an Xbox Series X from January. You can just get a Series S if you've got the internet for it. Just grab a Series S, get Game Pass, you got xCloud, you're laughing. You don't need an X.
On the Xbox Series S and X with beautiful and rich visuals thanks to the addition of ray tracing and materials alongside performance updates. This is the perfect opportunity to relive Senua's journey or experience it for the first time. And if you haven't played this, do yourself a favor, grab a pair of headphones and immerse yourself into this world.
Agreed. Speaking of unique experiences on Game Pass, the Xbox Plays team will be taking a look at some ID at Xbox titles over the next few days, including...
I thought they were going to show Hellblade 2, bro.
They're also talking with developers from Halo, the Master Chief Collection, Forza Horizon 5, and Destiny 2. So join the live Q&A to get your burning questions.
You know what Microsoft are doing? They're making you realize actually how good their E3 show was by doing a really shit Gamescom show.
Yeah, good comparison.
Finally. Dude, I just realized they spent 15 minutes on Age of Empires and didn't show gameplay. Even though gameplay is available anywhere, but for a briefing, for an actual briefing where people consume the news.
Everything I've seen of Forza Horizon 5 so far, and I can't wait. Now, Kate, there's more games to check out, right?
I thought we were going to see Forza.
Oh, look at that. What a tease.
Their newest DLC introduces us to a new cult.
Oh my god.
The Cult of
the Holy Detonation. Let's have a look. It's been about 25 minutes since we've seen a proper game. Let's have a look. Very Game of Thrones.
Withdrawal symptoms.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, exactly.
Changed. Devolved into the mutations you see before you. Set on a righteous path.
So this is a cult that loves bombs then.
The Holy Detonation's life-giving glow should be shared.
Very Hades-like game.
Yeah.
May the light of the Holy Detonation purify you. Join us, Rangers.
Okay, never been compelled to play Wasteland, but I want to know if it's any good.
What are you lying for? Just say the truth. You're still not compelled.
With new patches, bug
He didn't get me. I'm not gonna lie.
fine wine, Wasteland 3.
But I want to be compelled. I mean, obviously the stand.
You'll get one Xbox fan. It's better than Hades. It's better than Hades.
It's the original Hades. Okay, come on, David. Come on, tell it to me.
So in the trailer, we saw that
Whoa,
DLC
wake me up
is
when this is
coming
done.
out on October 5th. But we know,
I was hoping you were gonna wake me up.
Wasteland 3, you guys have been working on this for a very
Oh
long
my
time.
God,
So
this
can
is
you kind of
poor.
talk about that journey?
For a
Yeah,
very
our dev
long
team has been
time
working
indeed is this
nonstop, full
presentation
tilt,
going on.
trying to make Wasteland 3 the
Do you know what it is
best
though?
version of
Again,
itself
as I
it can be.
mentioned, and I'll
Over the
keep beating the
past few years
drum,
since
this
its
is a
release,
place where
we've
many
added
gamers
features, we've
consume their
balanced, we've
news for the
listened to the
year.
community,
E3 and
we've fixed
Gamescom,
bugs,
E3
added
and
stability,
Gamescom,
and
E3
I
and
really
Gamescom.
think that the version that
There's
we have
so
now
many
is the
people in the
absolute
UK
best
that don't
version
go onto YouTube
of the
channels to
game,
watch
and if
stuff.
you've
They
never played it
consume
before,
it
now's an
via
awesome time to
Gamescom
jump
because
in.
it's all in the news over here and things like
Congratulations
that.
on
And this is
everything that
so
you've been
far
doing with Wasteland 3. Now, this DLC
bollocks.
is called The Cult
Is
of
the
the
nice way to
Holy
put it.
Detonation.
The other mistake they made here is by
Talk
giving this
about
guy
that
a
a little
seat
bit.
because he's
Tell
just
me
got comfortable
what's
now, isn't it?
gonna
He's
go
like,
into this
yeah,
DLC. What
let's
should we
just
be
chat
excited about?
bollocks.
Right, so you've
Well,
heard
you know
of
about it's been the
China
same
Mountain,
guy
right?
from the first
For
one,
those
from
who
Flight
haven't,
Sim. He
China
just keeps
Mountain
changing his appearance and putting
He
wings
can
and
just do
everything. I
that.
know.
It's oh my gosh,
part of
he's the
Cheyenne
Mission
Mountain in the
Impossible.
middle
He's
of
still like
Colorado.
he's talking about
Designed
Wasteland, but he's still
to
secretly
match
talking
the
about
real
Flight
world.
Sim.
And so when you hit level 16, an old friend calls you and says, "Hey, I need your help securing this secret military base and all the secrets within." And as soon as you get there, you find two warring cults battling
But obviously,
over
Alex, we
supremacy,
spoke
trying
about
to
on
take control
the
of the
last
Holy
episode of the
Detonation,
latest
which is
PS5
this
podcast,
pre-war
Call of
science
Duty
experiment
Vanguard,
that
the
they worship
alpha
as a god.
exclusive to PlayStation
And
5 and
you know,
PlayStation
these cultists
4,
are insane,
coming up
they're
soon as well. I
mutated,
mean, that's
they've
one
gone
marketing deal
totally
Sony just
mad,
do not want to
and
let go,
all they
which is
want to
Call
do
of
is
Duty.
share
You
the
know, the
whole
amount of money
information
they
with
must be
you and
pitching
your
to like
entire Ranger
Activision to keep
team.
those
How
marketing
generous.
rights is
Well,
insane.
Activision,
That sounds
and
a
they
lot
put all
cooler
their
than some of the
resources into
cults
the
I've
franchise
joined
now.
in the
You know what I mean?
past,
All
but
their teams are just working on
Everyone, yeah,
variations.
that was
in
news
Wasteland
exactly. You
fashion,
know, it
we're
would have
really
been
gonna be
news,
able to
but
get in there
it's
and mix it up,
every
right?
single
Right. So
key
you and your
team.
Ranger team insert yourself
Well, you think about it,
right
you
smack
can
dab in the
create
middle
other
of their
games,
holy war, which, you know, what
but it
could
will
go
not
wrong?
make Warzone
And this
money.
is a
So
Wasteland
make
game, so
your
you decide
content in
everything. Choice and
Warzone.
consequence is
I
your bread
mean,
and butter. And so you
we
decide
spoke
who
about
lives,
a
who
couple of
dies, who
months
gets
back,
screwed
you know,
over,
we deep
who takes
dived
charge. You're deciding the
into
fate of the
Unreal
cults, the
Engine
Holy
and Epic's
Detonation, Cheyenne
eventual
Mountain, and
goal for
ultimately
a
all of
metaverse,
Colorado.
you know, which
It's
is where
really
people
your
live
game
in a
crafting
digital
the
world.
That's awesome. So the last expansion
I
was
don't. We'll do a
Colorado
latest
Steel Town,
PSX
right?
show on it.
You
We'll
had
try and get
giant
somebody on
cliffs,
who
things
takes
like
part.
that.
But
So
GTA 5
what are you
Online
gonna do to have
has
something like
taken.
that from the
It's
last
already
expansion?
there because
Right. So we
they've
wanted
released.
like returning
Fans
players
have
to find something that
created
they
so
can
much of
never
their own.
find
This is how
in
compelling
another
this show
version
is.
or
We're
like
talking
in
about
previous
GTA and
Yeah,
not
I
just
realize
Wasteland
I'm just
3.
talking right
um,
over this
So
dude.
we
He's
built
so
but
this
passionate
as a
about it.
Wasteland-style dungeon
people
crawl.
probably want to
And
kill
in
us saying,
there
"Look
you
at
find this
respect the
awesome
game,
mix
respect
of
the game." Nah,
mystery,
you're right.
exploration,
I mean, look at it. It
and
looks
meeting these
sharp. It looks
crazy
nice. It looks
cultists who
great. But when you
belong to this
got
like
Baldur's
pre-war
Gate
time
3 and you have
capsule
other games like
and
Hades, and this is
some
just
of the
DLC, not a
raddest
brand new
boss
game. No
battles
one
we have
cares,
ever been able to
except for
build in a
people who played
Wasteland
Wasteland
game.
and Xbox
That's awesome. I
fanatics.
want
But
to get back to
going
the
back to
crazy
GTA, yeah,
cultists, but
GTA
talk to me about
RPG,
these
which is
big boss
basically
battles. I
people
want
are
to hear more
playing
about that.
Right.
GTA
So we
and
took the
living
best parts of
digital
Wasteland
world. So there's
combat and
people who are going in
breathed
there
new
working
life
in
into
coffee
it
shops
with
and making
objective-based combat,
coffees.
which are
There's
basically
people who are
super
playing as
rad.
police.
Serious, yeah.
It's
You, it's no longer
crazy.
you're
Like
like
it's
huddling in a corner
Making
throwing
that
down
GTA
turrets just
money.
going on
Oh
shooting
yeah.
GTA
pages.
Online
It's not about
is
killing, it's about getting the
literally
job done. And
a
so
proper
now combat
metaverse,
doesn't
and it is
end until the mission
working,
is
and
over.
people
We
are
send you on
addicted to it.
proper
And it's
combat
why it doesn't
missions.
keep
You're in
leaving. Like if
there
it last
breaking into
week,
prisons, rescuing
it would have been
POWs.
number
You're
one in the
disrupting
charts
these
again.
high-tech cultist rituals.
You know what I mean? It's
You are
mad.
splitting
Like,
your
and
fire
obviously
team
this
and
past week,
coordinating like you
we
never have
know
had to before.
PlayStation
Like
5 stock
everyone on your
came in
team
the
has a
UK
job, and
because
I
the top
really
three
think this is
selling
going to
games
take
were all
old players
PS5
who know their
exclusives.
Ranger
Obviously,
team like
Ghost
the
of
back of their
Tsushima
hands, and it's
Director's
going to make
Cut
them
came out.
scratch
That
their head
easily took
and
number
really
one.
have to rethink how
Ratchet
they
was
go
number
about
two.
combat.
Miles Morales,
Making
it
it new,
keeps swinging
exciting, and
around. It's number
challenging
3,
in a like
right?
mental
But like
in a way we
literally,
haven't been able to
it's
really do before with just straight up
crazy how
murder
GTA
combat.
just sits in the charts now,
Now,
and it's because a GTA Online, and this GTA RPG, which fans have created in GTA Online, is absolutely insane. Like, it's mad.
Story encounters we'll see in the game.
Yeah, with this,
The only thing, honestly, that can save this show now is GTA 6, which it won't happen, obviously. But that's how bad this show is at the moment.
If we're like brainstorming and something makes us laugh, we just put it in the game. That's just how we do it, and we pick up the pieces afterwards because we want to make something that entertains.
And people are probably thinking, no, they have shown diverse games like Wasteland, like the Humble package on Game Pass, like Flight Sim, and they spoke about Age of Empires, but it's just these are games that aren't
and tell stories and
selling
join them.
Xbox consoles, if you know what I mean. People who play Wasteland and people who play Age of Empires are going to continue playing on the PC if they already have a PC, or if they're going to play on Xbox, they'll play on Xbox. But you know, you're not going to. There's nothing on this show so far, bar Flight Sim, but that's not really going to make a difference. It has convinced
and lets you meet
a
the
Switch
whole
player
like,
or
another
a
one of my favorites
PlayStation
is
player
Proteus.
to buy
This
an
is what you
Xbox.
get if,
And that's what these shows are all about, right? Is to get people to buy
Yeah,
the
exactly.
product.
Like expand the audience.
would
You
do
know,
this with,
not
like, a
just to sell the
magnifying glass,
same,
I would, like, melt, like, army
for
guys
lack of a
and,
better
like,
word,
GI
shit
Joes
to the
into a
same
big
audience.
pile, and he's wet and sloppy and gross, and he's hard to understand, and he needs a translator, supposedly. And
I don't
but
even know what he's
his
talking
number
about.
one fan.
Oh
And getting to
my
build, like,
gosh.
this totally out there, wild, extreme character was a ton of fun to write for.
Okay, let's get into
It's
this.
a ton of
Let's
fun
dive
to,
in.
like,
Okay.
explore, like, what makes this cult tick. And he's an absolute
Wow.
blast. Hell, even
Oh
some
my
of
god.
the weapons.
Let's dive into it, and he takes the gameplay off the screen.
Just can't do that to me.
Oh my god! I'm sorry, Xbox guys, but please just leave a comment in, and up until Wasteland 3, defend this show for me. Tell me why it has been great, and don't get me wrong. Kudos, they've done a show, but you know, us PlayStation people in the know how no Sony have a show in September, and I don't know where all these other people were like, yeah, May, June, July. All this.
Yeah, I mean,
I told you from months ago, didn't I tell you? Like, I've been telling listeners for months, it's September for the Sony show, and
Say I'm a new player.
Sony might look at this and think, you know what, let's take this game out. We don't need to show this game because it's not going to take a lot to, you know, trump this. So,
And like I said at the top, like Wasteland is like the best version of it.
Yeah, the funny thing is, we have a lot of Xbox fans themselves,
and so you can
like
get the
pretty much just shitting this show, man. This thing is, it just looks rubbish. It's getting 2 out of 10s. People are just thinking, really, it's just taking so long. I mean, these are actually Xbox fans shitting on their own
you
shit.
know what it is? They
It's so
defend
funny.
they defend crazy, and I'm not
You
there.
can't defend this. You can't defend
I
this.
am just giving my
Terrible.
opinion. I would love to get an Xbox hardcore fan on the show to chat. No, it's not a debate or an argument. It's just to chat about Xbox, because you get silly fanatics, fanboys. You know, fan came from fanatics, right? Is they chat shit and they just do not see the bigger picture of it. You know, whereas you get some Xbox fans who, you know, there was 1 or 2 in our last E3 show who gave proper comments and stuff, you know, who actually know what they're talking about.
To some incredible crossovers, including unique chipsets inspired by games like Battletoads, State of Decay, Halo, and more. Today, we're excited to announce a brand new special event that will award players an all-new ship as a part of the latest wild crossover heading to Sea of Thieves.
The guy who made Wasteland is sitting right next to you, and you just cut him off and gone into a new game.
So get ready to make some mayhem, and let's get our first look at this very special ship.
Probably one of my dude. Probably this is probably one of Microsoft. I'll give them the benefit. Of this is probably one of Microsoft's big success stories.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I mean,
it's a service.
It's
a service. You know, it's not. It's a gaming service for them.
Yeah.
Millions of people playing on it. It's obviously Borderlands. But I mean, they had their biggest amount of players last month because of the Jack Sparrow DLC. Sea of Thieves is big. It's really popular. It's a game where you can hang out with friends online and do something different. Like I see people online messing around on a ship and fighting other players, and that, which is really cool. But you know, I thought after the Jack Sparrow DLC, you add on that more. You know what I mean, with the success of it.
So it's been really cool.
But you know what we've seen so far has just been DLC after DLC.
It's okay for Microsoft to do it, but if Sony was to do this, they would be shit on like crazy. But obviously, you know how it is. The biggest and the best companies always get criticized more. You know, like PlayStation's like Manchester United and Xbox is like Man City. They got all the money, but no one really cares. No offense, guys. No offense if you heard that, but it's true.
The heat is just coming your way, innit? Digging that grave, man.
Get your hands on the Mayhem chipset.
In the words of The Rock, bring it.
So as always, I will see you on the seas.
See how fast? That's what you do. The guy came on a Sea of Thieves set behind him. He spoke for a couple of minutes, and we're seeing gameplay. That's
this
it.
show should have been about like 10 minutes.
You don't need to sit
like
down.
The whole presentation should have been 10 minutes. Give it 2.5 minutes for each like feature.
Weirdly, of everyone who sat down, the only one who was worth sitting down was the Wasteland guy, because he was showing new DLC.
Yeah.
What was it?
Hope. It's always
State of Decay.
World in Trumbull Valley.
Yeah. And then again, another great game for Microsoft. They got a great IP for this. They just don't push it enough.
That brings us back.
And obviously, the the genre-defining game that is Left 4 Dead is obviously getting its unofficial sequel in Back 4 Blood, which is going to be massive when it comes out. As I mentioned on last week's show, the latest PS5, I've been playing the beta. So much fun to play.
Mowing down, dude. Yeah, you're done, dude.
Get facial animations working, man. Put my son in the other rooms and feel how crap the show is because he's getting told off.
Welcome back to Trumbull Valley.
Nice. Should have opened with that after Dan, like zombie after zombie. Please, nobody on the couch.
Like
nobody on the
what?
couch. Nobody on the couch.
Well, just like zombies themselves, it seems everything old is new again in State of Decay 2. And we have a guest to walk us through this Undead update. Please join me in welcoming Undead Lab.
No, I said please, nobody on the couch. Nobody on the couch, and then it panned back.
Xbox didn't hear you. They just said, "Yo, you want someone on the couch? You want couch? I'm gonna give you couch."
We are very excited to get this into players' hands.
Again, this is a big game. It was really, really popular, obviously, back on 360 when it came out, and then obviously you had Xbox One and things like that. And State of Decay 2 has a lot riding on it now.
Yeah.
State of Decay 2, yeah, just more for the franchise, and it should have millions of players right off the bat because of Game Pass. They bought Undead Labs for this game. You know what I mean?
It is the 5th core open world map. It's fully remastered, and it expands into 2 territories that were completely inaccessible in Heartland. So players can return to Trumbull Valley with their communities, start new communities
But again,
there.
it's such a crowded space in any genre you release, and I think once Back 4 Blood comes out, which is... I'm right in saying Back 4 Blood is coming to Game Pass, isn't it? You know what I mean? I'm sure it's a Game Pass game as well. That would just wipe the players clean of this game.
In Trumbull Valley.
But again, as we said, Microsoft are trying to turn a lot of their IPs into services, and they just got to keep making content for State of Decay. But I don't know, man. I don't think... I mean, okay, you look at all these games that they've shown so far. Right.
A lot of environmental
This
storytelling to find. And, you know, things have changed.
is sort of like their second tier of games, if that makes sense. You know how Sony have like a second tier of smaller first party games and stuff like that. I think that everything we've seen so far, bar the screen for Forza Horizon 5 or maybe Flight Simulator, you know, well, maybe Flight Simulator you put in there because it only comes out once in a generation, really. But this is like the second tier show for Xbox. They're not showing any of their big guns, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but is this not the future of, you know, the Xbox Gamescom presentation, which is going to be like an update of, you know, the latest DLC?
But this is the thing, as I mentioned at the top of the show, they will know that Sony have a show lined up for September, because obviously they would have heard that third-party companies who work with both Sony and Microsoft are completing assets in time for Sony to obviously do a show. And they all know what each other is doing when it comes to shows and stuff like that. So they know that Sony have got a big show ready. You know, this is your last time to really have eyes on you in Europe for Gamescom to really go to work and make a statement, regardless of stock quantities or not. And so far, it's good because they're showing things that are coming out in the next few months, which is key. But you do need to show something. You got to dangle the carrot to people, and I think that's what Sony did very, very smart in the PS4 era. They dangled a carrot 2 years out, but they dangled a carrot with gameplay. You know, it wasn't just here's a teaser trailer, we'll see you in a year, and then you see gameplay. God of War, when it was first ever shown years before it came out, was first ever shown with massive gameplay. Horizon, massive gameplay. Days Gone, a teaser trailer, and you thought that was it, but then the same show ended with massive gameplay. You know, you've got to show like big, massive like gameplay staples with a carrot.
Now we move from Trumbull
That was perfectly timed. You see that? 2.5 minutes. Perfect. More of that, please. Even though we did talk right through.
And a healthy dose of hack and slash. All this awaits in Stray Blade.
If we didn't, we wouldn't have to do a live reaction. We just have to put this show on. We wouldn't have to have us talking because it's that rubbish, isn't it? Stray Blade.
Stray Blade.
This is very, very Game Pass heavy, this show, because nothing has been graphically impressive for Flight Sim. Nothing screams next gen.
I don't think we're going to see anything that screams next gen more than maybe Flight Sim and Forza.
Stray Blade, you discover
I think they realised that we got rid of the chairs.
A world which ranges from overgrown temple ruins to frozen caves and winding canyons. A game world.
The funny thing is, people don't realise he's standing on a stage with just green all around him in real life.
If that weren't
Green
enough,
screen
you
crazy.
even get a fuzzy little pal to help you out. Between the epic fights and this small guy, there's clearly a lot going on here. So let's hear more from Point Blank Games about Stray Blade.
Hello everybody, I'm Leonard Kausch, game director at Point
Need to
Blank
get me a
Games.
mic like that,
Today
mate.
I will show you Stray Blade.
You can go straight to his podcast straight after it.
Stray Blade is an action RPG where you play a rogue adventurer who's exploring the ancient valley of Akria with his companion, a little wolf named Boji. Unveil the history of the Forgotten Valley, master the powers of the 3 Akrian metals to
See, if we didn't talk about other things, this is what the show would be like. Just two guys sitting there quietly with confused faces watching the
But
show.
you're right. You know, this is just basically opening up, well, to make sure that there's a game for everybody, right? That's what they're promoting, making sure it's a service which everybody's going to connect onto. Once they have users, nobody get bored. But it's just not compelling though. It's not making me want to get Game Pass.
To achieve that,
Exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong. There is games that you automatically, if you know video games, you know Game Pass is the best thing in games for value, without a shadow of a doubt. There's nothing that beats the value of Game Pass on there. But
Akria's colorful world ranges from overgrown city ruins.
it's a handful of things on Game Pass. That's it.
Together with your companion, explore the deepest corners of an ever-changing world, bristling with adventure. Every discovery holds treasure. Find rare materials, recipes.
See, very smart, just to keep the pre-alpha build watershed on the screen the whole time. You know what I mean? Because if I'm somebody, and there's many of them who obviously just tune into Gamescom for this stuff, they're probably looking at like, this is shit, and they turned it straight back off.
And of course, get ready for epic boss
Okay,
fights.
Alex, we're down to wow, 23,000. People are tuning in.
3,000 people. Everyone is screaming, "Where is Halo? Where is Halo? Where is Halo?"
But see, he just spoke for a couple of
I feel sorry
minutes
for these guys, though.
with gameplay, and that was it.
Next up, one of the most unique games finally comes to Xbox.
Yeah, unique. As in, my evil twin murdered 4 of my husbands because they secretly are in love with me. Unique.
In case that didn't tip you off, we're talking about Crusader Kings 3, a medieval grand strategy and role-playing game that has you trying to defend your royal line from those that would conquer your kingdom, and evil twins, apparently.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's coming to Xbox as an adaptation, not a direct port, meaning that the UI and controls have been refined to bring that grand strategy experience to a controller.
Not to mention,
I'm trying to see in her earrings if you can see the green screens, because there's only certain things you can't do reflections, right?
Check out Crusader Kings
It's
3
true.
now, coming to Xbox consoles.
Yeah, I think just around the hair, innit? It's just a bit greeny. Okay, what we got here? Paradox. Nice. 10 out of 10 from IGN. I give 10 out of 10 to anything.
The crimes committed against
They did
us.
to the Last of Us 1 and 2.
Your father sought his glorious revenge and failed. He never understood that the greatest wars are won with weddings, not warriors. With daggers.
To the few thousand that are like, yeah, this is coming to Thingy. It's great. Again, it's good. They're showing you gameplay. They're showing you information. They're showing you how it works on the pad. But to me, this game looks shit. Just because it's not my sort of game. Now, don't get me wrong. If this was the same game with Lord of the Rings skins, I'd be like, this game is sick! Lord of the Rings.
You see, real strategy requires cunning.
I'm actually looking forward to Gamescom opening night live. They've announced some of the games that are going to be on the show. Can't wait.
Yeah.
You know, it looks really good.
Crusader, okay.
No Xbox One logo at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
What's this?
Nice.
Crusader Kings
I think this
3 is
this
wild. You
show
really
you
haven't
can
lived
see now
until
is
you've made it
completely 100%. It's not about selling hardware. It's about Game Pass. Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass. That's it. It's about getting subscribers. It's not about pushing hardware. It is literally about let's get Game Pass subscribers. And that's what we keep saying, that Game Pass is super important. Psychonauts 2 also available on PlayStation.
I am so excited for Psychonauts to finally get a sequel.
It's been years since the first game.
There really is something special about Psychonauts, isn't it?
What platform was it on originally? PlayStation? PlayStation?
PS2, I want to say.
Time for gaming. Most of the biggest games that year, we're talking Resident Evil 4, Battlefield 2, Call of Duty 2. They were great games, for sure. But they were all big, beefy shooter games.
Meanwhile, Psychonauts had humor, whimsy, and surprisingly heartfelt moments. It was an oasis of color and humanity in an era when games were increasingly turning grimy, dark, and combative.
Not to mention having some deceptively deep character moments.
That's why the original is considered a cult classic.
It has been a long time coming, and it is finally here. Enjoy this long-awaited launch trailer for Psychonauts.
It's reviewed really well. It's in the mid-80s. I think it's in the 80s in the Metacritic. Let's have a look and see what we're looking. Game great for Xbox gamers because they get it for on Game Pass, don't they? Psychonauts.
My name is Raz, and I'm the new intern.
So I typed in Psychonauts 2, but it came out something completely different.
It's like PS3 graphics, right?
It's a game. It's so funny, Alex. So this game was kickstarted by a huge amount of PlayStation fans, and obviously Microsoft bought Double Fine, and there's no PS5 version. There's an Xbox One and an Xbox Series X version of the game, but there isn't a PS5 version. You just got a PS4 version with no enhancements, which is and don't get me wrong, legally they don't care because obviously that wasn't a part of the stretch goals or anything, but it's still a kick in the teeth, right? You know what I mean?
Or like a nice marketing ploy to get those PlayStation backers to get an Xbox.
That's currently on
Game Pass.
It's 87 on Metacritic, you know, really good
87?
game. Really
Wow.
good game, dude. Great platformer, you know. You can't ridicule something just because it's Microsoft or Xbox owned because they own it. The game is quality. And look at the gameplay, it looks great.
It's alright. Even with its art style, I mean, it does look very retro, but I guess it works.
Tim Burton-esque, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And again, we're watching a live stream on YouTube. I'm sure the game looks much, much better out this week. But yeah, this is literally a show for Game Pass.
Like day one. Sweet.
Don't sit down.
It's clear I could not be more
Thank God.
excited for Psychonauts 2 because I gotta be
She's
honest with you,
standing.
in that original game, we got
Good sign.
some beef that needs settling. If you know, you know. The
Oh,
meat
beef.
circus level,
Okay.
it is infamous, it is brutal, it is difficult to say the least. It's the final level of the original game that came out, and I cannot believe I'm doing the math on this one. 16 years ago, Tim Schafer and Lizette
Hey,
featuring Montgomery. I am
16.
Oh,
definitely
they're on
dating
sofas.
myself,
That's
but
good.
you all welcome from Double Fine Productions. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
being
but Tim
here.
Schafer's
Can
great.
you
He's
believe it?
funny.
It's
Like
been
he's
19
hilarious.
years.
He
That was
deserves to
been
get to
19
be
years.
sitting down.
Yeah, it feels like only yesterday, but it kind of was for Raz because
16 years between Psychonauts and Psychonauts. Obviously, there was a Psychonauts game in between for VR, but that's for PlayStation VR. But again, 16 years.
That's mad, isn't it?
The spirit of the first game.
I mean, this is actually be classed as a retro game, right?
We were able to do because we brought back a lot
I love his answer when they asked, "Oh, you're with your creative mind. Why did you get accepted to be bought out by Microsoft?" He says, "Because they paid me a lot of money."
Carry the legacy forward, especially
Why
You
not?
know, it's great. Well, it's great for Double Fine. You know, they don't have to rely on Kickstarters or anything or worry. He like a team with the quality of Double Fine now can just focus solely on our next creative game, not worry about sales because it'll be on Game Pass and everything, and the creative freedom and pressure off their shoulders. It'll be really interesting to see what they pull off, you know, after Psychonauts 2.
All the levels are different, just like every person is different based on their personality. If you could jump into someone's mind, what would it look like in there? What would be the color of the sky?
Well, if you think about it, with the exception of Flight Sim, it's probably the highest Metacritic game that they've had in years.
Probably, yeah.
Those monsters and help people deal with their nightmares.
And again, it's so funny looking on social media because
and there's a lot of anything goes.
every time Sony releases a game, you know, low 90s, high 80s, you know, for their on Metacritic, and then Xbox fans were always saying Metacritic doesn't count, and then Psychonauts 2 came out, and I've been watching and just seeing them gloat about Psychonauts is 87, and it's double standard. That's why I hate fanboyism. I just don't get it. Either have the banter, legit banter, or don't say anything else. You know what I mean? Because for me, I look at it and I think, you know what, Psychonauts 2 isn't an argument point. It's a celebration of, you know, a win in the industry. That, you can see the green in the top of the earrings. Can you see it?
Does this mean? It doesn't mean basically that we're finally able to slap COVID anxiety in the face.
It's
some Xbox fan will be like, no, it's an X for Xbox.
Xbox is doing druid.
In addition to panic attacks, some of our old enemies have also come back. Our sensors are favorites, and they're definitely.
I might actually give it a go.
Really.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. Psychonauts 2, without a shadow of a doubt.
I'll give it an hour.
We haven't said a bad thing about the game. Psychonauts 2, you got to give more than an hour though, because like the first game, it really does wit its charm on you. But again, it's one of those where I wouldn't go out and pay full price for it at this time of year. I would wait until obviously goes into a deal or something like that. Or if you have access to Game Pass eventually, you know what I mean?
So we have a whole cast that you can battle and fight with.
Because I'll have a Game Pass subscription, but it won't be to the end of next year when Starfield comes out. Just so I can play Starfield.
For those who haven't played the original, available now on Xbox Game Pass, by the way. Wink. Tim, why is Raz so good at rummaging through brains? Raz is, he has some very special skills. He has two whole sets of skills, one being the acrobatic skills he learned growing up in the circus. He can balance on tightropes, jump on trampolines, swing on trapezes, and that helps him navigate and get around to all kinds of
wax looking.
But he also has this other side
different
of his personality, which is that he's a powerful psychic. So he can levitate objects, he can use telekinesis and
this is a game you...
telekinesis, okay. Now I'm interested.
From the first game, as well as 3 new powers.
This is a game that you actually should be sitting down. This is a perfect Switch game, mate. This sort of platformer.
To solve puzzles and to navigate in this game. He has a power of time bubble, which is just change and slow down.
I upgraded my Ghost of Tsushima as well. Thought I might as well do it. Yeah, I thought I might as well do it because if you've got the base game, £25 upgrade gets you the native PS5 version with the Iki Island DLC. So I thought. Might as well.
Go for it.
It looks stunning, dude. It looks stunning.
And that is the game. That's the next game I'll be diving into.
Dude, the intro sequence with the controller is the DualSense just wants to jump out my hand and stab me.
They've got the triggers now, right?
Dude, it wants to jump up and stab me, man. The pad is going nuts in that ultimate, and it just looks 60 frames. Like,
oh, yes.
Game was already
I'm looking forward to that one.
And the interns quickly tell him and show him how he fits.
Didn't think something would load as fast as Miles. This thing is just as fast. No load screen.
So earn his way back to the top.
Yeah, I mean, I said it before on the podcast. I'm sure that how easy it is that they're running the game at 60 frames per second, that they could easily bump it up to 120.
Circus clothes.
You know, there'll be a patch out before Christmas.
In front of all his new friends, and so
viewers who are watching this, we're not disrespecting Psychonauts 2. We can watch. We don't need to listen to the talking. We know what the game's about. You know, but it is a PlayStation show, and this hasn't been engaging enough for us to keep our attention. That's why we're talking about other things. But speaking about when we were talking about game sizes and compression, Alex, Destiny 2, the next DLC update pack, 47 gigabytes on PS4, 21 on PS5. That Kraken compression, mate. That Kraken compression is killing it.
Nice. That's what I want to see more of. You know, obviously that means that they don't have to load the same assets. You know what I mean?
I think the one thing you notice is at launch, if it wasn't a native PS5 game, it was the the PS4 game with a patch on top, which means that the PS4 game had all the assets with it. Whereas now these native PS5 versions that don't have copied assets and stuff in there, you know, so the memory size can go
We're going
down.
from cleaning out mental cobwebs to cleaning up alien planets in this supremely satisfying 4K
This game looked
trailer
visually
for
stunning
the
when they first showed it. If you can't remember it, check this out. Look, the graphics are quite insane. The gunk.
I don't like this weather. Pretty sure the ship's insurance won't cover alien storm damage. You have to be careful out there.
The gunk's eating everything here.
Oh, that's just like Mario Sunshine, right?
This planet is literally a paradise when the gunk's gone.
Just doesn't have a fat plumber in it. Yeah, so it's just cleaning up. But it's again
cleaning up. Oh, that's great. Oh, fantastic.
It looks. Look at that, man. So it does look pretty cool. Nice. I like that. Footwork. You don't know to go into detail on it. You're done.
You know what? You know what I'd like? Just a little bit more story. You know, just give an idea. I mean, trailers at least give you a bit of a taste of what you can expect.
Scared there.
That was nothing. It's like, okay, you're gonna go around cleaning up shit. Great. And you can do it in 4K.
We have talked about so many incredible games today, and
Okay,
it's hard
what
to
we
pick a
seeing now?
favorite. But let me just say, it is so cool that State of Decay 2 is expanding Trumbull Valley. Come on. And hey, you know what? Great job on that Flight Sim interview.
Oh, thank you. I mean, talking to Jorgen.
You know when we usually say, "Come on, next game, next game, next game." This show actually makes me say, "Come on, finish the show, finish the show."
But I was staring daggers of
now it's
jealousy
flying time for
watching
Forza.
you talk to Tim and Lizette over at Double Fine.
Well, I will say this. I understand, but you got to play Psychonauts 2 already, so I don't even want to hear it.
That's true, but it's not the same as talking to the creators. Just trust me when I tell you. Be excited for Psychonauts 2.
I will say this as well. I am
finished
excited
that
to see even more of Psychonauts 2 on our Xbox
Is
Play
this it?
streams.
Like, wrap it up.
Yes, don't forget, Xbox Plays will recap all the week's news throughout
Rumble
the
game.
week at twitch.tv/Xbox. So make sure to check that out. Before Kate and I let Playground Games take the wheel, let me just say that it has been our distinct pleasure to chat games and nerd out with everyone today.
Finishing with Forza, dude.
It's hands
Playground
down the
game,
best
but
part
this
of the job for sure.
bollocks.
But we're far from done here.
Too true.
What?
Now, in June, Playground Games announced
I don't know if that's a good thing.
highly anticipated follow-up to 2018's breakout hit open-world driving game Forza Horizon 4 arrives on November 9th on Xbox consoles, Xbox Game Pass for console, PC, and cloud, and of course, Steam.
And if you're watching our Xbox YouTube channel, switch over to our Xbox Twitch channel to see all this new.
Why couldn't they do that when they had the guys sitting down, for fuck's sake?
That'd
have been good, right?
Switch over to listen to more about this game. Don't put it on your actual Gamescom briefing.
Exactly.
Forza channel, stay right where you are.
Without further ado, let's dive in, starting with the new custom Forza Horizon 5 controller, which is available for pre-order today, so players can have it in hand by November 9th when the standard edition of the game launches.
Let's have a look at the pad. Looks like a Captain Marvel pad already. Nice.
Nah. Oh,
He's got that season. Oh, I lost it with the buttons. It lost it with the trigger. What's going on with this? Color coding.
That's not done yet. They're still going for that bubblegum.
See, I like the fact that you can look in. It looks cool, but
Yeah, the rumble one.
Oh,
Okay.
like someone puked on it. Show me a heavy hitting game now. And again, I complimented Forza Horizon 5 on the E3 stream. I just pointed in some pop-up in the background and I got eaten. And it was hilarious. But they just couldn't admit that there was pop-up there, even though I gave the exact second that there was pop-up in there. And then they were like, it's not in the 4K version. And I went in the 4K version and it was there. Not bothered. The game is still going to be great, as I said in that E3 show. And I'm excited to see it here again. But if I do see pop-up, I will shout the fucking thing out.
Look at that.
Well, we obviously just saw a really cool video about it, and I'll be the
The
first
weird
to
thing
say
about
there is
these
an amazing
Xbox pads is when you do a
influence
pad like that, it don't make no sense. When you've got the designer control lab that they have, where you can create your own pad for like £100 and have it sent to you, right? You don't need that unless it's something like a proper like a Spider-Man pad or something. You don't need. If you've got the designer control lab, you don't need these sort of controllers.
Forza Horizon 5 is bringing the Horizon Festivals.
But it's whether it's actually going to have that type of effect, that paint splatter,
But that's what I'm saying. It says unique branding, but there's no Forza Horizon branding on the pad unless I missed it.
Ever built in hundreds of the world's most beautiful and exciting.
But the thing is, you know what?
Yeah,
it's just not a dual sense.
Mexico is just a desert or a beach. There's so much
It doesn't have adaptive triggers.
Xbox fans won't agree. They'll be like, the Xbox pad is the greatest pad ever. Fuck off.
It needs an update. It needs an update.
We moved to a new generation, right? And the DualSense showed what the new generation is. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the DualSense controller on Forza Horizon 5?
Oh my gosh.
The triggers, the feedback.
HDR sky captures really illuminate the world to the point where you feel like you're really there. And thanks to the Xbox Series X and S, ray tracing is utilized in Forza Vista to really make our cars look more true to real life. You'll encounter the smallest of details as you travel throughout the world, all rendered with
S is always going to be there. Microsoft won't let that down. The S is not there. The S is there just for the entry point for Game Pass and xCloud. That's what it's there for. And as I said, you don't need an X if you can get.
Featuring the incredible
Eventually, if you can get 4K ray tracing and everything like that via stream.
Should we take a look?
Let's do it, yeah.
Look at that. Looks stunning. Pop up. I'm only joking. Someone just blew a nut. Look at that.
Oh, the models on this game. The whole series has just been unbelievable.
This is their biggest success story of the modern era since 360. Forza has been a consistent performer for them.
Yeah.
Horizon specifically over Motorsport. You know what I mean?
Games like this one just makes me think that Microsoft should just be a software company. They should just keep being.
They're going to be. That's the end game. They're going to be the provider. They're going to be the channel provider. Which is obviously xCloud and Game Pass and stuff like that. They don't want to make hardware.
No.
Marks the first time a car features.
I mean, all their hardware has kind of failed. I mean, the Xbox is pretty much like their multi-platform hardware.
360 was the anomaly. Well, 360, like I said, 360 was an anomaly. You know what I mean?
People can't wait to see more of what these cars can do in the game. So
Xbox One
waiting any longer. Mike,
sold poor. Xbox 360 sold great. Xbox One sold poor. And then this one, it's the best-selling Xbox, fastest-selling Xbox to date, which is great. But that will tail off because I can walk into Smith's Toys or Game or anywhere here in the UK and pick up an Xbox Series S easy because they're not sold out. The X is, I'm not going to sit there saying that, tell the truth how it is, the Xbox Series X and the PS5 are still impossible to get hold of, but the S, the demand dropped down straight away already, because people either want the X or the 5, don't they?
Oh, there's just no games. There's no killer for first-party games. Just sell it. Come on.
Oh, nice.
I like this stuff.
Beautiful. Nice. Like it's hot, Very Fast 9 going on here.
Yeah. That's what they need to do, it seems like a collab with Vin Diesel.
Visuals, look at that. I'm just looking in the background of the scenery. See, this is how you do it. Just have someone talking in the corner while the game is being played. Perfect. This is the best play. Okay, now imagine this with the DualSense controller. Nice. Dude, the pad would be jumping out your hand on a DualSense.
It would be. Oh, I could just imagine. Oh, look at this.
Amazing.
This game needs DualSense. You know what I mean? I cannot wait. This is one of the first games I will be playing as soon as Xbox Game Pass, sorry.
See a lot of fade with the bushes. You can see a lot of it. Can you see
That looks so good.
It does. Even with the phasing in front with the bushes, it still looks
and
amazing.
Game Pass as well. I mean, yeah, can't beat it. In what other racing game competes with Forza?
Gran Turismo, bro, but it's so few and far between. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's just mad.
Dirt, Need for Speed, or anything. Well, it's EA now, isn't it? I was gonna say Criterion, but it's EA now.
Yeah.
But you know what it is? It's great. I think the problem with Forza Motorsport is it doesn't have character like Horizon does. Horizon is just such a unique game, and it's just like the ultimate success story, and it scores higher metacritically, Horizon does, than Motorsport. You know what I mean? Because it's such a unique, fun game to play. This is like look at that. This is like what Need for Speed Hot Pursuit could have been if they continued doing it.
Yeah.
Nice. Look at the speed. Look at that.
Towards a dust storm in the Mexican
See the pop up there on the tree.
Towards a dust storm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and this is what you need. You know what I mean? It's the environmental interaction you get with these games.
Definitely. The see the car there. See the car. Look at that.
And countries down to the sea.
Nice. Look at that. Boom, the car came out of nowhere. I loved it.
Oh, brilliant. And the fact is that you could just go absolutely anywhere. If you just want to go into the field, you can just go for them. Knock into houses. Oh, that's over there.
As I said to you, dude, this is the ultimate success story for Xbox at the moment. It's the Forza license. Or the Forza brand, sorry, not the license.
Yeah.
Look at that. Stunning. Get to the dust storm.
I think it's the one game that's like combined the look at that. The perfect character for the model. You know what I mean? The car model.
That car needs to come out orange, like proper covered in dust and everything, just to the feather in the cap, man. Well, come out the other end covered in dust.
Yeah, the attention to details of the car models, like the Gran Turismo, compared to like just like an arcade like dirt, they fuse it perfectly together. This game. Ooh.
The ray tracing and that bumper there. This show actually, this whole Gamescom briefing would have been so much better if they just showed.
Save the show.
Well, it would have just been great. All they had to do was show Flight Sim.
I'm actually happy now to watch it.
It was better. It would have been a better show if they just showed Flight Sim, Psychonauts 2 and this.
Yeah.
You could cut everything else. Look at that. It's so good. Nice. Way driven. I love it. Get shaders. Textures in the road and everything. And again, this is a great fun game that you can just play online, you know. I remember how much fun I had playing Need for Speed Hot Pursuit online with people that I knew, and that was so much fun.
Yes.
Just buzzing around doing your own thing and then getting together for races and stuff. And this is going to have SSD speed when it comes to like getting into races and loading and starting matches and stuff, which is so good.
I think they've worked on a pop-up as well, right? Not seen too much.
Yeah, only seen a tiny bit, that's it, but there's such a big improvement. But it's not about pop-up in a game like this. This game, and I said in the E3 show that Gran Turismo 7 will have pop-up. It's impossible to do a racing game without pop-up because of just how much it is. You're going to spot some eventually, no matter how fast the SSD is. But this game is like a huge open world map, you know, it's amazing, and it's a technical achievement.
It's really good.
That
looks awesome. That looks awesome. Pretty good. Alright, this is cool, but I kind of want to see a couple more like variations. I mean, it's all good going on dirt track, go straight through some water again, copy and paste in it, but show something more. More flamingos, yeah, looks great.
There's another plane with another car. I could listen to you. Change the scenario for you. It's the trademark.
Oh, the final drop, nice, nice.
This is the car they're modelling the game off, aren't they? This is the trademark car, yeah. The marquee race to the festival. Nice.
And on the final leg, we have the stunning Mercedes AMG 1 at full speed across Mexico's sun-baked rocky coast.
Dune buggy coming in on the side.
Yeah, I love the way they're actually coming in immediately. Almost synchronized.
I would love them to, like, you look at Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo's evolved from a racing game to an esport, right? To the point where it had a bloody Olympic. It was in the bloody Olympics. You know what I mean? And it had a thingy for it. That's how big Gran Turismo's gone. It's become such a successful esport. Can you imagine this like that? That'd be amazing. I mean, it's a bit crazy because it's Forza Horizon, right? There'd be more motorsport, but like this is just in a league of its own compared to Forza Motorsport. Like motorsport is just a simulation game, and unfortunately it goes up against Gran Turismo then, where Gran Turismo has the more realistic feel on the cars because they're obsessed with the actual cars itself. But this, stunning, absolutely stunning. Microsoft should just be like, right, you know what? We're just going to support Forza for 2 years, do a motorsport, and then do another Horizon. Support it for 2 years, then do another motorsport. You know what I mean? Like break it up a little bit and focus more on Horizon. Then now we're going to do motorsport. It was a smart move to not release the game last year, not to like rush it for launch or anything. You know what I mean? Look at that.
Yeah, really good. Nice.
Yeah, indeed.
That was worth the wait, man. I mean, this has been a painful presentation.
Yeah, I'm actually relieved it finished.
Right now, everyone's gonna be like, "Yeah, what about Halo, Battlefield, nothing." Yeah, okay, well,
so that was the Xbox Gamescom 2021 stream, a show where it is to get eyes on there, but it's safe to say, and it's something we always say every Gamescom show, is that it's a vehicle for Game Pass. It's not there to sell hardware. It's there to gain Game Pass subscriptions. That is the most important thing for Microsoft. That's probably why they haven't pushed for that many or haven't released a statement saying, yeah, we've got this many semiconductors, and then never saying financials, that this is how many hardware we're going to sell. It's always about subscriptions, and this show was predominantly aimed at gaining Game Pass subscribers. And I understand why they showed a lot of their big aces at E3, but
I don't know.
I thought they would have showed at Halo, man. I thought they would have showed Halo today.
I think this is basically about maintaining, because everything was DLC after DLC. There was nothing really new, to grab your attention. But yeah, I do think that they should have really showed, at least talked about Halo. I mean, he mentioned Halo once, right? That was actually it. But yeah, I can completely understand why a whole lot of Xbox fans out there are just complete disappointment because it was really underwhelming. But hopefully, Xbox got something else.
We're a PlayStation podcast. They're jizzing over this show. They're going to defend it vigorously.
Man. I want to see a true Xbox fan saying, "Yeah, that was an amazing show. I loved every single game, every single DLC update." That's not happening, man. It's not happening.
Well, we are coming back tomorrow. We're going to obviously do a live reaction to Gamescom opening night live, which will be a lot better than this show. But what was your rating out of 10 for this show?
Mine, 4.5. Yours?
2.
Oh, I thought you were going to go be diplomatically generous in it, but no, 2.
And that's a point. And that's a point for 1 point for Psychonauts 2 and 1 point for Forza Horizon. That was it. Nothing else.
That was it. It was all Forza.
It's just a poor show, But as you said, it was about maintaining and updating and stuff like that. But you still show something a bit better than that. That intrigues
just
and tries to get people enticed and stuff. But it's opening night live. Maybe we see Halo tomorrow night at opening night live. But for this particular singular show, I wasn't impressed at all. So,
but I mean, if you especially want to be captivating, you've got like a small window to make sure that you can get as many eyeballs as possible. And you said yourself, I mean, we saw the viewers drop, about 10K of viewers just left, the show, and that's not what you want. Obviously it was too long. The interviews between each developers, even though they were good, they should have really been more compacted down, and they should have just really focused on the gameplay and at least give a bit of story, a bit of context as to Alex, why you need to look into this game.
They've given us a meme. They've given us a show, which is you do 15 minutes on a game, show a catapult and how it works, but don't show the game.
that was brilliant, man. Like, what the hell are they doing? Welcome to the Discovery Channel. Yeah,
I know. But again, as I mentioned, we're back tomorrow with Opening Night Live. Thank you very much for watching. If you are a real sensible Xbox fan and you want to come on our show and talk Xbox with us, just get in touch with us on the comments, or you can email thelatestps5@gmail.com, or more optional better way to do it is go onto Twitter @latestps5. You can either send us a message or DM us, get in contact. We'll go chats, we'll go from there. Thank you very much for the show. We'll be back tomorrow for Opening Night Live. Like and subscribe to the channel as always, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.
Good night.